Okay, from the first video, we obtained this into our. We are trying to create this database with tkinter, a graphic user interface using Sqlite free with Python, and we just can create a database like this, like let's call it mine. Create database, there it is. Okay, we gotta change something. We got this. Okay, let me see. I changed something here. We just had app. We call this win equal win, and we run it, and we okay. We got this and we run it. It is very simple. So we see we got the import stuff here. We imported Sqlite, Sqlite error, tkinter, and glob. And in this class, we just we are creating a window called win, and with the label with label these three entities, this button and this list box here inside. And we wanna do something like, first of all, I wanna change the name of this. I wanna call it app, an app. Instead of this, then another change that I want to do is to I wanna create the root here at this level here, root equal tk.tk, and then pass the root into this win, and then have the root dot main loop here. And then I want to pass the root here, and then I want to say self root equal root. Okay, I will explain the reason for this after a while. So we have all working. Then another thing that I want to do is to go and first of all I want to change something here. Instead of saying when we create this database and I write something in here, you see, if I don't, I can put .db because it's the file, the database file is .db file, but even if I don't write it, these lines of code here provides me to add it if I don't have it. But I don't want to use this db square -3, because if the name is shorter than 3 characters, it will give me an error. So I will just say if ends with dot db. Okay, if it ends .db, it will pass because it's alright. If it doesn't, it will add the db stuff. So another thing that I want to do this, so when the button here is pressed, it will create, and so it will go to this function. I don't want it to go here anymore. I want it to include it into my class here, and so I will put it here. So here I don't have to call it create, but I have to call it self.create. I don't need self anymore, and instead of object here I will write self, and all the objects here will become self. Let's see now if it works just like before. Yes, let's add a cd, like, okay, we have cd database, but I think that because there is just another cd, you can see that we it's just the same cd as before, because let me try again. Let me, okay, db self get expected, and what is line 33? Okay, here there is an indentation problem here. Let's put it here. Okay, that should be right. Okay, let's create a database called books. Create, and it has the .db. Let's create, so let's go and check it into the, you see here it is our books database. Let's close it, let's open, let's create another one, books, that is called just like that one. You see here we got two books. If I go and open it, I got just one book because it's just the same. So I should do something to avoid this. Well, first of all, let me try to put it here, this self lb insert db. I should check if there is if db in glob, we imported glob, okay, glob dot db. This means that if the db name here is in the list of database in the folder, I will say pass. Instead, else, I will insert it into the list. Let's do it again. Let's try to put again books, create a database. As you can see, it doesn't add to the list because there is yet a book database inside. So, okay, another thing that we want to do now is to start creating the okay, now let's make the table def, and also we want to change this name from create to make db, that means make database. Okay, and it should work. Let's add a database like school, create, sorry, it doesn't works, but it makes that here there must be something that is not right into the here, if db in glob. Okay, now of course when it is created it's there, so it's just created, so this is not good. To when I do something wrong, it will not, I will say if db not in blog, I wanna say if db is in self dot lb dot get 0 comma tk dot end, and let's put this close here. Let's write something like tomatoes. Okay, here it is, and let's try to write tomatoes again, and you see it's not there. Here we got just one tomato. We can delete it because it's closed. Okay, so we ensure that we don't have two times in our list box this new database. So now we have to create our functions, methods to create the table and the fields to insert into our database. So first of all, we are going to let's draw our widgets. So we will have first of all label and entry for the database name. So we will have okay, the database label, we will call it ldb n, like name, equal tk.label self.root text equal insert database database name and dot pack. The same for the table. The only thing that will change is here tb like table. The same for the fields. But we will call instead of tb feed fl like fields. Label root insert fields fields name and type one by one. Then let's define the entry now with the string variable. So something equal tk dot string var, and we will call it as it is a variable of lb. We can call it v variable db database, and then the entry of the database, and all these are self. So the entry of the database will be self root, and entry database.pack, and we need also a text variable to be equal self vdb, and this will be the same for the table name, but we are going to change db into tb, and the same will be also another entry for the fields. We will change the tb name into fl like fields. Okay, let's see what we have. Let's do this self.ltb name.pack. Also for this, and also for this. Let's pack it separately. There it is. We got insert database name, insert table name, a insert table name that must be insert fields name and type followed by a comma 1 by 1, clicking once for each field. Okay, at the end, there it is. Instead of name type otherwise, name. Why I got to this? Because I just did it before. I got to this, don't need to. Let me put it here and delete this one. there is something. Okay, insert field, comma, I'm clicking each field. Let's maybe see if we can do this. Okay, for one, let's put another one here. There it is. We need a button for each field. We will call this one button FL, create field, and then we need another button to and we're gonna change this thing here, called button TB for the table. Okay, so self-pack button TB and button FL. Let's see what we can see. Create field, and create table. Okay, here we are gonna make table, no, make field. Okay, and here we're gonna make table. There it is. Now we just have to create our two functions that are def make table self and pass, and def make fields self and pass. Well, let's make first this one because it's very short. We just have to do self dot fields plus equal self dot fln dot get. Well, we have to get what is inside of this that we called EFL, okay, or VFL. EFL dot get. Self fields must be empty at the start and will be empty at the end here. Right, and then will be empty let's put it at the beginning here, self dot fields equal so. Let's see if it is all working, and let's go making the table here. Okay, for the table we are defined here, so this self fields, when this one will be called, will increase, will be added to this maybe. Okay, and we are gonna use this create field when the button is pushed. Make FL. Nothing really difficult. We don't have to send nothing because it will get the data from the button. With the table there is a little something little bit more complicated. So let's do first of all self.con equal, we need a database name. Okay, connect light.connect database name. This will be passed by when we click here. So we are going to do we are going to pass here the database name that we can find in here. Database name, it's easier, it's in the variable database here. Okay, VDB, but always with the self. Okay, in the self VDB we will pass the database name, then we will pass the self table variable tb. Yes, it's more intuitive to call it table name. Well, I'll leave it tbn. Instead, I want to call this dbn, database name. Okay, database name, perfect. And the table name. Okay, we will pass the database name and the table name after we open the database. What we are going to do, it's the cursor equal con.cursor. We need it to start executing the SQL code. So self.execute. Okay, the SQL code will contain the SQL language. So we have to create a table. So let's create a table. What table we want? We don't know. We will pass it with this table, will be this table name here. We will pass it with format and tbn. We will pass tbn. Then we will do something. We will open a parenthesis here, in here, with a comma here. It's not necessary, but we will put here. And then here we will put another placeholder. And this placeholder will be a list that we will call with an asterisk fl. It will be, sorry, self fields, this one. So we don't pass anything, and we just, okay, the self fields is we want to make it a list. A list of strings, so we're gonna pass this self fields here, and so let's make it a list. Self fields, then EFL. EFL.get is this one. Each time we press this button, we pass the EFL variable here of the fields. Okay. VFL is the string var, and the EFL is the entry object. We can use get on both of these. So each time that we press the button, we will go to makefl, and makefl will append what inside the self fl get, and then we wanna also do what we do here, that is to set the not the DB but the entry the entry variable for fl, vfl dot set to, okay, so we cancel what was there. Then at the end we could pass it here, but we don't have to pass it to make the table. Okay, then at the end, the important thing here is to self.com.close. So let's see if there's something wrong. Okay, the database name, let's create a new one. Let's call it school. Let's create it. Let's open the folder where we created school. Where is it? Is it here? Let's see, it's 0 kilobyte. We just created. So let's insert the database name. It's school.db. Let's put db because I don't know if I made the control about the extension. Insert the table name. Inside of school, I want to put students table. Inside the field's name, I want to have of each student a name that is a text. Let's put a comma here, then we can change, we can avoid putting comma, can create two different entries, but for now leave it so. Okay, it cancelled, so it's good. And then we have to, apart from the name, we want to have the city where they came from. It's always a text and there's a comma. So you understand, I might have to make an example or use two labels here, two entries. Okay, create a field, and at the end I wanna put the age or when there. Okay, let's put just age, like an integer with a comma. We don't need a comma anymore, but okay. So we created 3 fields. Let's create now the table with the fields. And there is an error here. Self-con equal expected string bytes, not a string var. Okay. Okay. So let's go and change this. Let's see if our school here is always, well, let's delete it. We will do it again because now where we created the connection here, we have to put a get. I think, yes, it could work. Let's go again with school. Created school.database. The name is students, and we have a name. There is a text, a city, text, age, integer, and create a table. Con is not defined. Yeah, it's self.con. Okay, let's create another one. Books. Create books dot database. Insert table name, romance, and title, text. Create fields. Author, text. I don't know if I put a comma, so there may be a mistake. I gotta check this thing. And year, let's say integer. And create field, create table. App object as no attribute execute. Of course, because we got to put here core.execute. Let's do it again. And sport dot db, table name soccer, and team, text, create field, score, integer, create field, create table. There is another mistake. At line 87, format and self fields. Self fields get something there is not, so maybe because I forget a comma. I should, I think, change a little bit the code. Okay, let's try again with another one. I think it's just a mistake that I made here, forgetting a comma, so we have to try to modify the code to, because if you forget this, something can go wrong. So, but it's just the first attempt to make it. So let's try another thing. Let's go cars. You see, here it is. Cars. Let me copy it and paste it, and let me do models. And here I wanna put name and text and a comma. Create the fields, and then I want to put a year integer, and let's put a comma here. Let's create a table. Yeah, for some, oh yeah, I know why, because if I create just one field, it will work. I need to, yes, of course, I need more placeholders here. I haven't done a good stuff making this in this way, and I need to put more stuff like this. Let me improvise something. Okay, ln equal len self fields. Okay, and no, it's okay. Self fields, it's good. It's not good to use a list. Okay, we can use a list, but let me do this change here. Okay, self dot fields is equal dot join. So here we could avoid the comma because we could add it here, of self dot fields. Okay, so now we pass a string here and it should work. Maybe. Oh, there is just one thing here. We want to have this one as a list again. No, sorry. It's good as a list. Okay. So let's go. And let's create houses. Create a database. There it is. Let me copy and paste it. And let's go table Italy, and let's go city, text, create fields, and mq integer and create field, create table. Now it should work. Now maybe if you go to houses, we should see that it's not 0 kilobyte but 8 kilobyte. Here it is, 8 kilobyte for houses. So now we have finished this part for now, and in the next video we will see how to add some actual record to our table. And maybe we also want to show the table that we made as a structure. For now, we've just seen that we can do it, we can create it. It's not, there is a lot of things that we need to add, but for now it can be a good step to go to the next level.